Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of the series Road to Celestial. Now, since the last episode, I have been pushing a little bit off camera, and I managed to make my way temporarily into Celestial 5, which was very nice, but there comes a point in the season when you're going to find some tough opponents and some very tough matches, and today I found myself up against KT1. Let's get into it. So I saw that KT had been streaming, and I noticed that we were on a similar amount of points. So I hopped in game, but I didn't actually expect to match him. It was a sort of inadvertent stream snipe. So as for my bans, rank 3 Sig 200 Serpent, which is about the scariest sentence you can say to an MCOC player. Also banning his arcade, it's becoming a bit of a rule for me. And here I was torn. I was torn between rank 3 Bullseye and rank 3 Medusa. With this man's deck, it's almost futile just saying the word rank 3, because he has so many. But I ultimately settle on Medusa, and we'll see how that decision comes back to bite me in the future. But first draft for my opponent, and that Bullseye makes an immediate appearance. And with him banning my Onslaught, I'm kind of stuck for a counter without Mr. Sinister, but he doesn't take him. Not initially, anyway. So I take Nick Fury and I take Domino. Two very good first principles drafts. He has Penny Parker here, but I think... Does he not take her? Luke Cage. And then I think he initially goes for Ghost, but then in the end decides to go with, yeah, Penny Parker. Okay. I get my own Penny Parker, but then I think, okay, alright. Some of these champs are good, but it wasn't sitting with me right, and I had a reroll. I have one reroll. And I decide, I think, to use it, yeah, and that's a little bit better. Rank 3 Spider-Ham. Kingpin's been great. Alright, that settles my nerves a little bit, and I was very nervous. My heart was beating. I was lying down. I could see my chest moving. It's a lot of pressure. This was done live, as that Bullseye is now going to make an appearance properly and feature in his draft. So we're really on the lookout for Mr. Sinister here. Without Onslaught, I don't have Bishop. I'm a bit stuck. And, like, look, okay. I have two defenders here. Realistically. Right, I can take Null, fine. But he's only rank 2, and I'm sure KT's good enough to get through Null. I take Sasquatch, and I'm just... Maybe this was a mistake, because now Luke Cage has an obvious target. But there, look, okay. If he gets another Science Champ, then me piling defenders on with Enchantress, you know, there's Hulk. I'm just walking into more futile defenders, so I drafted someone who I can use. And here I get hit with Sig 200 Domino, which I think, okay, alright, fine. Also, I think Korg is in the end, yeah. And here I get Deathless Thanos, and Deathless Thanos really is a lifesaver right there. That is exactly the sort of dual threat I'm looking for. So heading into round 1, it's his turn to place first, which means that when it comes round 3, it's going to be his turn to place first, which is good information, and he goes for Korg. Alright. I know who I'm using for Korg. I have myself a Kingpin, and I decide to go for round 1. Domino. He does not have a convincing tech character. I mean, he has Penny Parker, but he's saving that for Nick Fury. Well, that was my assumption. So who does he go for here? He goes for Ghost. Now, that can work if you are the luckiest man on the planet. And I'll take my odds on that one. So, heading in against Korg, my heart, man. I get nervous fighting these big guys, these well-known names. You know, KT. I've faced Berryman a couple times, Pepe. And my heart just goes crazy. It's really quite stressful. And here the AI did not want to play into me at all, which was fun. Going back in here, getting a light attack intercept, and there he just walks towards me, man. It was very frustrating, but I keep a cool head. I keep a cool head and I say, alright. That's not great, but remember the matchup you gave him. You have round 1 here. You've got your overcharge. Not your overcharge. Your overpower. And we're going to land a light ending combo, get rid of another rock shield. Dex, prematurely Dex the last hit so I can punish with a light attack, and here he goes for it, which is nice, chucking off another L2. Those incinerators are eating at me, I'd quite like to get rid of those, that hurt on the block. The incinerators aren't going away, I'm just going to have to eat them, fine. I get another overpower, this is good. And here I'm going to have to intercept him again. And he's just not going for me. I try to bait it heavy, but Kingpin's not... He doesn't have the light attack reach for that, but I get the intercept. Alright, now I'm in. Now I'm in. I've got another overpower, I've got another SP2 in the works, and he's down below 20%. That's good. That's really, really good. Using the Unstoppable to get an opening, baiting an SP2, and hopefully I can kill this before the charges come back, and I just about manage it. And it is good enough. It is good enough. So round one goes to Matty. Okay. How am I going to execute this? He has 2 knockout defenders, and I just... Oh. I was a bit frustrated because I turned down Penny Parker, who would have been used for Domino, because the rest of the draft was just not it. And here I chucked down Nick Fury with the intention of placing probably Deathless Thanos in round 3, but hey, I mean, I didn't have the defenders, and I didn't have the attackers. And here I have to find a way of getting into an acceptable endgame. And the reason this decision took me so long was just so I could have more time to look at my champions, because I needed to pick a defender. Because realistically, I'm going to need Deathless Thanos for Bullseye. He's my only realistic counter to Bullseye. He's Decay, Poison Immune, and a counter evade. So, alright. He goes in with Penny Parker. I'm not expecting to win this. I'm just not. My best score with Null against the Domino, I think, is like... Oh, well, we're going to see. I don't think it's this one. But from what I remember, this isn't an awful fight. I don't think I die horrible, at least. So, throwing off my L1, she does not fail my Encroaching Corruption. The only way that would hinder my progress would be just damage-wise. I'm completely immune to crit fail and both DOTs with Null, because he can just place his Living Abyss debuff on fight start and not worry about any sort of DOT from Hazard Shift. And going back in, I think my first Encroaching Corruption failed on its actual activation, but here we get it. As I take another SP1 to the block, that hurt. A few of my armor breaks failed, but now I'm into my damage phase. Getting those intercepts, that's going quite well. She gets lucky and she evades the last hit from my L2, which was painful. But luckily, she doesn't punish me until I get parried immediately after, but no matter. We look past it. So throwing off my relic, my corruption's going to end here, so I think I throw another L1. Yeah, rescue what I can of my Living Abyss, and my Encroaching Corruption fails on this occasion, so I'm going to need to go again. And bear in mind, I'm not expecting to win this, but just on the off chance, I don't know, he has a heart attack midway. We do want to keep playing. The important thing is never give up, because remember, this guy's live too. Like, I'm on his live stream, but he's the one actually making the live stream, so I'm feeling the pressure. He's probably used to it by now, but he's also feeling some degree of pressure, so I need to keep going. That's what I told myself. And here the fight's about to end. Just going in, do the damage, chuck the SP1. Are you going to win? Probably not, but alright, you didn't die horribly. There are worse things that could have happened. He executed it very well. Finished on 100% health, a bit slow, if I say so myself, but okay. And this is just going to be nasty. It's him to place first, but it's very obvious who I'm going to be faced with. Alright, we move into round 3, and I'm thinking, alright, this can go one of two ways. Either I get assaulted by Bullseye, or Deathless Thanos pulls something out of the box, and maybe, just maybe, this will go alright. I decide against Sasquatch here because this is a technique I call dodging the counter. He's ready for Luke Cage versus Sasquatch. That is Luke Cage's staple matchup. But against Spider-Ham, it presents more layers and more thinking for him, even if the fight is technically easier. So, heading in here, I completely forget that I need to stall at the start of the fight. and I get an Incinerate on me, and that hurts. That hurts. It's just nerves, man. I just forget what's going on. But let's see what happens when the fight actually starts here. So now I have my panic debuff up, and I have all my debuffs, so I'm now immune to the DOT, and here I throw my second L1, and things are looking kind of alright. And I just should not have done that. I should have played it really slow, I should have baited the L2, and then I should have gone back in. And here, you know, I could have finished that, but could have, should have, you know, if he'd thrown another hit into my unstoppable, then great. Could have, should have, didn't. I didn't. I took an L2 to the face. Throw off my L2, and yeah, the fight's going to end here. But really, really silly. And I initially didn't want to make this video after seeing this. I knew it would be good for the channel though, and there we go. Executed very, very well. Against Sasquatch, Luke Cage probably would have done over 50k points. So I think I placed it right, but played it wrong. And would I have got 48k? No. 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 Could I have played that better? Yes. Is it irritating to not embarrass yourself? I put up a fight. But to lose on live stream, yeah, that's annoying. And was it very stressful? Yes. Was it kind of my fault? Did I put those nerves on myself? Yes. And are those nerves getting in the way of my gameplay? Potentially. But fights like these, while they may feel like a big deal, ultimately they're just one match in a whole season of matches. And, you know, I was up at over 170 points at one point today, and now I'm down at about 140. I played a few matches after, and I won a couple, and then I lost a few. It was very frustrating. As you can probably hear, my mood isn't the best, but look, I've made forward progress since the last episode. I'm at well over 100 points now, and I'm secure there. And yeah, I mean, it's an honor. I think the game thinks I'm good enough to face KT. My deck thinks otherwise. But hey, it's alright. It's alright. And that is just about all I have for you today. If you have enjoyed the video, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.